Hi guys, and welcome back to class. Today, we are going to start off with looking at a quote from the text, and we're going to be analyzing the effects of word choice. So when we say word choice, that's basically meaning that whenever an author writes something, they choose certain words for certain reasons. There's multiple ways to say something. So if they use a specific word, there's probably a meaning behind why they chose that word. So that's why we call it word choice. So let's look at this quote. It says, "What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take. Love and languish for his sake." This is Act 2, Scene 2, lines 33 through 35. This is how you properly cite as a reminder for anyone who's either has forgotten or anyone who's just joining us. This is a citation. This is called a citation. So anytime that I ask for you to do writing and to include textual evidence, this is how you cite. If you're going to take a line from the text, you are going to use this to cite the lines. The first number stands for the act number, the second number stands for the scene, and the third numbers stand for the lines. So moving on, it says, why is the verb languish included in this line when the verb love is already there? So what impact does this word have on the meaning of O'Brien's lines? So the word languish means to suffer from being forced to remain in an unpleasant place or situation. So if you languish, you are upset and you're suffering in an environment because you're forced to be there. So for example, we may not always want to go to school. And so you may feel like you're languishing, you're suffering, or you're being forced to go to school. That could be an example. Or maybe you're being forced to do chores at home instead of being able to go to a friend's house and, go to their birthday party. So you're languishing and being home in an unpleasant place or a situation because you're being forced to stay home and do chores instead of going out with your friends. So why is the verb languish included in this line when the verb love is already there? And what impact does the word have on the meaning of O'Brien's lines? Our focusing question is, what defines the experience of love? And the content framing question in our reveal stage says, what does a deeper exploration of character conflict reveal in Act 2, Scene 2 of Midsummer Night's Dream? And our craft question for Lesson 9 in our execute stage says, how do I structure an argument? And our experiment stage, how does listening for a speaker's logic work? So in this lesson, guys, we're going to examine the struggles around love, especially the significance of different characters' perspectives on the experience of love. Now, when we analyzed O'Brien's lines, you probably could continue to examine the effect of the specific word choices on the meaning of love and the differences of opinions. But moving on, I want us to share out from our research topic that we did yesterday. For those of you who are at home, I want you to go online and comment on one of your fellow classmates' responses. Is there something you learned from their response that you didn't put in yours? You're finding someone with the same question that you had and responding to them. Did they mention something that you didn't know? What did you learn from their post, and vice versa? Our next activity is we're going to summarize an event. So as a reminder, and if you turn your books to page 6, you'll remember that was the first time that we encountered a summary. So there's an example of a summary of Act 1, Scene 1 on page 6. But for Act 2, Scene 2, there's also a summary as well. But I want you guys to summarize Scene 2 on your own. What has happened in this portion of the text of Act 2, Scene 2, and share out in the discussion board. Now here's another word that we've looked at before, the word pun. We said that a pun was wordplay, often for humorous effects in which there are similar words and similar sounds of two or more various meanings. So I want us to reread aloud Act 2, Scene 2, lines 41 through 71, and complete handout 9A. Then ask yourself, as they stop to rest, what is Hermia telling Lysander to do? What is the definition of pun? And why is Lysander's pun with the words lying and lie in Act 2, Scene 2, line 58? What's the pun there? Make sure you also complete handout A. This is where it's asking you to respond to questions regarding the conflict and the character's perspective. So read your boxes. And so here you're going to write, how does Lysander try to convince Hermia to let him sleep near her? You would write that here. And then what does the character say? How does he do that? What does he say to get her to let him sleep near her? And what's the quotation? What does that quotation that you wrote here mean? And rewrite it using your own words. Once again, if you need help, please come to office hours. Now let's look at the word virtuous. This word comes on line 65 of Act 2, Scene 2. And I want you to consult a dictionary on what this word means. And then I want you to ask yourself, how does Hermia's response to Lysander demonstrate the two meanings of virtuous? We're also performing a fluent reading in here, so make sure that you read the passage that's on the handout and practice your reading as well. Now looking at the CRE, we've talked about this before. This is handout 9B. And remember, CRE stands for evidence-based claim, reasoning, evidence, elaboration. Practice your listening goal by reading your CRE out loud to each other and then writing out in the boxes where your partner says a claim, where their reasoning is, evidence, and where their elaboration is. For those of you who are at home, I want you to just use your own writing and dissect your own writing. Where is your claim? Write your claim here. Where's your reasoning? Where's your evidence? And where's your elaboration? To end this lesson, I want you to ask yourself, in our reveal stage, what does a deeper exploration of the character conflict reveal in Act 2, Scene 2 of A Midsummer Night's Dream? Another way to answer this question or to understand the question is, basically, after you read Act 2, Scene 2, what did that act and that scene show you about the characters and the problems that they're having? What did you learn about the characters' problems that are a part of Act 2, Scene 2? Then I want you to analyze Oberon, Lysander, and Hermia's lines in this lesson and think which defines the experience of love more, selfishness or selflessness. If you don't know what these words mean, you must look them up in order to be successful. So do you think that based off of your reading today, that love is about selfishness or is it about selflessness? For homework, I want you guys to continue your fluency reading on handout 9C. Now on to our vocabulary deep dive. Let's look at the word contagious. Contagious means capable of being spread from one person to person by contact or association or carrying a disease. Please make sure that you write that word as well as these inside of your vocabulary journal. We've got infectious and transmittable. What kind of connotation or feeling do you think you get when you look at the word contagious? What type of connotation or feeling do you get? So remember, a connotation is basically how that word makes you feel. So when you look at the word contagious, what connotation or how does that word make you feel? What feeling do you get? Do you feel safe when you hear the word contagious? Do you feel unsafe when you hear the word contagious? Now I want you to reread Act 1, Scene 1, lines 84 through 120, and underline the words that are associated with the word contagious. How do the connotations of contagious help you understand the effects of Tatiana and Oberian's argument? All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's lesson. Once again, office hours are every day, Monday through Friday, 11:22 to 12:06 p.m. if you need any help with the assignments. I'll see you then. Bye.